Greetings and welcome to the Culture Ward, where we dissect and dismember pop culture in all its forms. In 1973, a young filmmaker by the name of George Lucas made a name for himself with his first feature film, the coming-of-age movie American Graffiti, which went on to become one of the most profitable movies of all time and which was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. After such immediate success, Lucas next wanted to make a Flash Gordon movie, based on the character from the popular classic comic strip. However, he was unable to obtain the rights for the character, so he decided to write his own science fiction space opera. Heavily influenced by spaghetti westerns and samurai films from Akira Kurosawa, George Lucas developed the idea of Star Wars. Despite his previous success with American Graffiti, though, Lucas was only able to get one studio interested in the project. Alan Ladd Jr. at 20th Century Fox was a fan of American Graffiti and pushed the production deal through.
And so I went to United Artists with this idea of the space film, and they turned it down. And then I went to Universal for the idea of the space film, and they turned it down. And finally, Alan Ladd Jr. saw it, who was the head of 20th Century Fox, and he said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to get this space thing off the ground." And he said, "Okay, well, I'll fund the screenplay." When American Graffiti came out and was this giant hit, then I used that opportunity to secure my position with the film I had been working on, which was Star Wars.
It turned out to be a wise move. Released in 1977, the first Star Wars movie, retroactively named Star Wars Episode IV: A New Hope, became the highest-grossing movie ever made, at least until it was surpassed in 1982 by E.T. Star Wars was also nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 6, quickly becoming a pop culture phenomenon. An entire industry developed around Star Wars, including books, video games, and merchandise such as toys and games. Interesting side note, George Lucas was encouraged to negotiate for a larger fee for his work on Star Wars, but he instead opted to settle for increased licensing and merchandising rights, an agreement that earned him hundreds of millions of dollars.
I had made a deal with the studio. They expected me to come back and suddenly ask for more money, and I didn't do that. What I did is sort of managed to get the sequel rights and licensing rights and all the other things for the film, set myself up now using the profits from Star Wars to build a company completely independent up here in San Francisco.
Star Wars also launched a cinematic universe, followed in 1980 by Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back, and in 1984 with Episode VI, Return of the Jedi. These first 3 movies are known as the original trilogy, or OT if you're really cool like me. The original trilogy follows the adventures of Luke Skywalker as he becomes a Jedi Knight and helps bring an end to the evil empire that rules the galaxy through the powerful Sith Lord Emperor Palpatine and his apprentice Darth Vader, one of the greatest villains in film history. The first movie, A New Hope, introduces Luke, at the time a teenager on the desert planet of Tatooine, longing to join the rebellion against the Empire. We follow Luke, along with Princess Leia, the smuggler Han Solo, and his Wookiee companion Chewbacca, as they join the Rebel Alliance and destroy the Empire's greatest weapon, the Death Star. In the second movie, The Empire Strikes Back, while the rebels are being hunted by the Empire, Luke trains with Master Yoda to become a Jedi. He then fights and is defeated by Darth Vader, who is revealed to be Luke's father in this iconic scene.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
No!
Return of the Jedi sees the Empire once again constructing a Death Star and our heroes once again trying to destroy it. In the meantime, Luke, who has since become a Jedi, confronts Darth Vader and the evil Emperor. Darth Vader redeems himself in the end by killing the Emperor and saving Luke, and the rebels succeed in taking down the Empire and restoring order to the galaxy. So, Return of the Jedi released in 1984 and was my favorite Star Wars movie. And I love Star Wars so much. The original trilogy was so important to me growing up. We used to watch these movies on VHS literally until the tape wore out. And Return of the Jedi perfectly rounded out the trilogy, which altogether told a compelling story of adventure, sacrifice, and redemption. It was inspirational and indeed inspired an entire industry of stories, novels, comic books, video games. The expanded universe grew exponentially in the wake of those movies. And it seemed for a while that Return of the Jedi would be the last official Star Wars movie we would get. While George Lucas had ideas about a continued story, he was hesitant to create any more films after Jedi.
When I finished the first trilogy, I figured that was the end of Star Wars. At that time, I was a new father, and I had just been divorced. Then I reached a point that I thought I could go back and direct again. And so I said, well, do I finish Star Wars or do I go off and do these other things?
In the 1990s, with the popularity resurgence around Star Wars and the burgeoning technology of CGI, he began once again working on the story of Anakin Skywalker's fall to the dark side. And in 1999, 15 years after Return of the Jedi, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was finally released, showcasing a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, with his master Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, as they find a little slave boy on Tatooine named Anakin, who was very strong with the Force. The backdrop of the movie was a trade route dispute between the Galactic Republic and a group of separatists, and was apparently being manipulated by some dark, mysterious force. We find out later that the Sith is likely behind it, which surprises the Jedi Order, a large group of Jedi Knights who help keep peace in the galaxy, as they believe the Sith had gone extinct. The Republic forces defeat the Separatists, and Anakin becomes Obi-Wan's Padawan. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, released in 2002, picks up roughly 10 years later and follows Obi-Wan and Anakin as they protect Senator Padme Amidala in the midst of increased pressure by the Separatists. Anakin and Padme fall in love, and the Clone Wars begin, led by an army of clone troopers commissioned by the Republic under mysterious circumstances. Of course, once again, there are dark forces behind the scenes that appear to be manipulating events. And finally, we come to Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005 and set near the end of the Clone Wars. In this installment, we watch Anakin, who has gotten powerful, slowly turn to the dark side due to his love for Padme and with the manipulation of Senator Palpatine, who is clearly the mysterious Sith Lord the Jedi have been searching for.
Kill him. Kill him now. Do it.
When Anakin has a vision of Padme dying, he seeks a way to save her. Palpatine promises him that the dark side of the Force can be used to save her life. In the end, Palpatine convinces Anakin to be his apprentice, and he thus helps enact Order 66, in which all the clones turn on the Jedi, killing them all.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
The Clone Wars end abruptly, as it was all a setup by the Sith to seize control. Palpatine is made Emperor of the new Galactic Empire, and the few remaining Jedi escape and go into hiding. Obi-Wan fights Anakin, leaving him for dead, but Anakin is rescued by the Emperor, becoming the Darth Vader that we all know and love. The prequels were a massive success, earning a combined total of over $2.5 billion. And they formed the basis for what would be known as the Skywalker saga, the journey of Anakin Skywalker from that kind little boy on Tatooine to the violent Dark Lord of the Sith, and to his 11th hour redemption in Return of the Jedi. While many older fans had mixed feelings about the prequels, I thought they were fine. Not as good as the original trilogy, with some obviously irritating bits. For instance, Jar Jar Binks was an annoyance who gobbled up way too much screen time.
No, Mrs. Stay. Mr. called Jar Jar Binks. Mr. your humble servant.
And the over-reliance on CGI really hampered the experience. Others complained about their rather boring political underpinnings, with much time spent on parliamentary procedure. However, I thought it was necessary to paint the picture of what happened to the Galactic Republic. All in all, the prequels told a compelling enough story, and they have earned their spot in the Star Wars canon, despite those mixed reviews. What is clear is that reception improved with each installment, and even more so with time. especially in light of the so-called sequel trilogy, beginning with Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and ending with the absolute dumpster fire that is Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Let's not even mention the most divisive and absolute worst Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. However, what the sequel trilogy did do is make the prequel trilogy great by comparison, so I can at least respect them for that. At any rate, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is widely considered the best of the prequels. It has epic lightsaber duels between Yoda and Palpatine, as well as the third act finale showdown between Anakin and Obi-Wan, when Obi-Wan leaves him for dead, legless and burnt to a crisp. The action was better, the dialogue was less clunky, and the story was darker and grittier.
You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
And this movie, Revenge of the Sith, will be celebrating its 20th anniversary on May 19th. In anticipation of that milestone, the movie is returning to theaters on April 25th for a limited run. I kind of look forward to seeing it again on the big screen, to be honest. So apparently does Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and who recently reprised that role in the Disney Plus shows Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. While the shows were hideous, he was the highlight in both. For many years, Hayden was unfairly maligned for his performance in the movies, especially for his wooden dialogue in Attack of the Clones.
I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Thankfully, retrospective reviews of his performance have been more forgiving, and he's always been a good sport about it. In a hilarious recent video, he is seen buying a ticket to the movie for the 20th anniversary.
One ticket, please.
For which movie?
He also did an introduction to a special screening of the movie at Star Wars Celebration this month.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hayden Christensen, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this very special screening celebrating the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I hope you all enjoy watching Anakin's journey to the dark side and watching Ewan and I battle it out on the big screen. So now let's get to the movie, because this is where the fun begins. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Anyway, what did you think of the Star Wars prequels? Are you going to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters for its 20th anniversary? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Bye for now. I hope to see you next time in the Culture Wars.